be improved and developed, right? I'm going to start it again. A growth mindset is a mindset that allows you to believe. Oh, amazing. So a growth mindset is a mindset that allows you to believe that your abilities and intelligence can be improved and developed. And it's not just believing that, it's understanding that this can be done through hard work, dedication, and perseverance. I'm sure these are things you've read and listened to in all the resources I sent in for this session. So a growth mindset is the one that you believe that there's really nothing too difficult that you cannot develop or improve yourself in. Now, this is quite different from a fixed mindset, which simply says, I'm rigid, I don't believe I can change, or I don't believe that anything can get better from this point. This is who I am. But a growth mindset allows you to see yourself as somebody that is not there yet, but is working hard to get to that point. And that is something that this mentorship academy will give you. And I'm glad that this is the first topic you're starting with, so that it can prepare your mind or open your mind to understand that um, every other sessions you're going to have from this point, you have to decide that you want to improve yourself. And I'm sure you're not just here to listen to everybody speak. You're here because you want to make a better part of and get better at the things you're doing at the moment. So that's what a growth mindset is. Now, the next thing you need to know is, why is a growth mindset important? If you can still hear me, just give an emoji. If you can still hear me, I'd like to see an emoji. Thank you so much. Oluwatoyin, thank you. Kosi, thank you. Elizabeth, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So, why is a growth mindset important? Why do people like me talk about growth? Why do people like me believe that anybody can change? Well, it's pretty simple. Number one, you get to embrace challenges. Now, I'm going to say this again and again and again. You get to embrace challenges. You see everything in your life as a learning opportunity. Now, this is something I tell people. I tell people that I have no regrets in life. Why? Because I've always lived my life in a way that seems as if anything goes wrong at this point, I learn from that situation and do better. So for you to be able to have a mindset that wins, you have to embrace challenges. I'm going to share this on the way. So I know some of you already know the story, but for those who do not know the story, I'm still going to share this. A couple of years back, say when I was in my, I think right from childhood, I actually used to stutter a lot. I never used to speak in public, and it affected my self-esteem. I had a very low self-esteem, and I enjoyed being called a wallflower because before I could say come, I probably would have stomped my feet on the floor more than 5 times because I couldn't just release words from my mouth. And because of that, I became that person that nobody wanted to talk to. But then as I kept growing in my early teens, I told myself that we can't keep on like this. We can't keep doing this. We have to do better. So in all honesty, I don't know how I managed to move from being a stammerer to where I am now as a speaker. But one thing I was sure of was I embraced the fact that I was a stutterer and I needed to do something better. So if you want a mindset that wins, you have to understand that there is no situation you are in that you cannot learn from. It's important that you see every situation in your life as a learning opportunity. Now, the next reason why growth mindset is important is it allows you to enjoy feedback. I did something recently, or I do it once in every 3 months, where I reach out to people in my space, my contacts, my friends, and then I ask them questions like, okay, now this is a new quarter. What do you like about me? Or what if somebody asks you about me, what would you say? And I get responses, all nice responses, right? But then I ask the hard part, what is the downside to me? And then give people the opportunity to say and unsay things, both good and bad. If you want to win, you need to be ready to take criticism and feedback. Feedback is your best friend. Now, the truth is sometimes some feedbacks could hurt you, could break you, could put you in situations where you don't want to find yourself. And it's okay. I'm somebody that if your feedback is plenty like that, I could just end up crying, right? But what's important is I have taken what you said and I would improve myself. So it feedback becomes a tool of improvement. So if you're somebody who has a mindset to win, or if you want a mindset that wins, you have to take feedback as an opportunity or as a tool of improvement. If you did something, or take for instance, you are given a task to do and you do the task, I advise you to ask for feedback. When you ask for feedback, it simply means that you're somebody who wants to learn, who wants to grow, and that is what the growth mindset is about. Now, the third thing you need to know as to why a growth mindset is important is because of perseverance. Now, this one can sometimes be confused as people suppressing their emotions, because I read something recently that said people are suppressing their emotions and calling it positive mindset. Well, that's the gist from that day. I will explain that some other time. But what is perseverance? It's that point where you develop resilience to keep going. Now, a growth mindset does this for you. It means that if you do something now and it doesn't end well, you'll try again tomorrow, right? And that's the kind of mindset YSB Queens should be aiming for. Have a mindset that allows you to have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H to Z. That prepares you for the most toughest and harshest moment of your life, right? So perseverance is a great reason why growth mindset is important. The next one, which is my favorite, is continuous improvement. A person with a growth mindset will continue to improve. A person who believes that where you are now is not where you should be somewhere else better, will continue to grow. And this would give room for mastery. Now, I have been a personal growth advocate for the past 5 years. And when it started at first, I wasn't expecting me to get to this point. But when you see yourself as, or when you decide or agree that there's more to you, or there's more to your essence as a person, as a woman, as a lady, as Abba's favorite everything, you must learn mastery. It doesn't matter the skill. You want to be a tailor, or you have this flair for sewing, put in the effort, keep pushing, learn new patterns, learn new things, look for the right tools to use, know the kind of machines to use for different fabrics, know what works for each fabric. That is somebody who has a mindset that wins. If you're still with me, let's see 100. I want to say 100 emoji. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. If you're still with me, let's see your 100 emoji. Thank you so much, Naomi. Thank you, Victory. Thank you so much. It's so great to have you guys here. Inyolua, thank you. Favor, yeah, Kosi, Tony, thank you so much, ladies. All right, so we're going to the next important part of this particular conversation: how to develop a growth mindset. I know this is a question that people keep asking because it's easy to say, yes, have a growth mindset. It's easier said than done, to be honest, because life is happening to you. And in fact, Nigeria is happening to you in different ways than one. So having a growth mindset in Nigeria is not for the weak. That's something all of us can agree on. It is not for the weak. Having a growth mindset in this country called Nigeria is not for the weak. So how do you develop a growth mindset? Number one, acknowledge imperfections. What does that simply mean? Pretty simple. You are not a perfect person. You know, somebody said something to me recently. Person says, so a person was talking about physics. Person was saying that the way God used to create everybody, it will make you tall, give you a great body, but your face is not fine. It give you fine face, but you're short. So you need to understand, or you need to acknowledge the fact that you have imperfections. Everyone has a weakness. Everyone has something that they want an opportunity to grow in. Just like I said, I had stuttering as a weakness and I found a way to grow through it. um I, I I had issues finishing law school. I mean, I told myself I was not going to be a lawyer one of those great days. But then I understood that this is the reason why I don't want to be a lawyer. That was my imperfection. I couldn't put things in my head faster. But then as I was able to embrace my weakness, what happened was that I had an opportunity to grow. So how do you develop a growth mindset? Acknowledge imperfections. The next one is embrace challenges. I already said this already. Acknowledge that you have curiosity and you are willing to learn. That's the greatest thing to happen to anyone. A person who is willing to learn would overcome a lot of amazing things. The next thing is positive affirmations. Now, if you're someone like me that enjoys that, probably your love language is words of affirmation, I think this will work really good for you. So take out time, stand in front of the mirror every morning and say nice things to yourself. You're great, you're good, you can do this, you can do that. Just call yourself amazing names. What me I do personally is I literally always write a new bio for myself every year. What do I do? I sit down and come up with ideas of who I want to be for that year, and I write a clear-cut bio of what it should look like. Those are affirmations for me. It makes me feel it actually helps me deal with negative self-talk. And you see, the issue with negative self-talk is that it never stops. Don't ever think that you will stop saying you're not enough, because it will keep coming to you. But the best you can do to handle it is very simple. Replace those negative talks. When they come, replace it with something good. All right. Say something nice to yourself. Encourage yourself. That's why I enjoyed that song by, I think it was Pastor Nelson. Encourage yourself in the Lord. Yes, even God tells you to encourage yourself because that's the best thing you can do. I wrote in a blog one day that your best motivation is not anybody, it's actually you, right? If you cannot motivate yourself to get things done, nobody would actually do it for you perfect. So how do you develop growth mindset? Say great things to yourself. Keep speaking over yourself. Speak, in fact, there's power in the tongue. So everything you say about yourself or say to yourself are the things that will manifest per time. Now the next one is celebrate effort. I'm somebody who is big on celebrating small things, the most minute of things. You see me throw party for it in my in my small room. So no matter, let's say you have a goal to meet. Oh, somebody cannot hear me. If you cannot hear me, please let me know. If you can't hear me, please let me know. Can you hear me? Ah, okay. Tony can hear me. I'm so sorry if you can't hear me. You could probably just exit and come back, please. Maybe it's your network. Great, thank you so much. So the next thing, like I said, celebrate your effort. Yes, you have a big goal to meet, but those tiny steps you take to hit that goal or to get to that goal, celebrate them. Take for instance, your goal for the year is to write a book. You write chapter one, throw party, literally. You write chapter two, throw party. You write chapter three, make it loud, because every time you celebrate your effort, it's a push to the next one, right? So where you do not celebrate your effort, you might actually just get discouraged to get to your goals. The last thing you need to know about developing growth mindset is learn from failure. I was talking to an intern in my office 2 days ago when I told her that I am a product of failure. Yes, it sounds very funny, right? But I am a product of failure. I have failed a couple of times, I've failed hundreds of times, but every time I fail, I go back to the drawing board. And as YSB queens, every time you fail, do not stay down, do not stay broken. Jump up and go back to the drawing board, because it's pretty simple. I did ABC and it failed, right? And then I'm not happy about it. I go back to drawing board and try. What about if I do ADB? Will it work? So learn from your failures, because they're your stepping stone and they help you reflect on improvement. If you're still with me, please, I like to see emojis. Maybe we should try celebration emojis this time around. Celebration, celebration, celebration. Yes, YSB Queen, thank you. All right, I think I'm almost done. I'm so grateful for this. So, practical steps. I mean, it's one thing to say, just like I said, having a growth mindset is easier said than done. Don't let anybody deceive you. It's not even the easiest thing. Because I remember last month, with all of my growth mindset, I was in a place where if they give me punching bag, I'll punch things up because I was really down, right? So having a growth mindset is not as easy as everybody makes it sound. So we're going to talk about some practical steps you can take. And I also, just like I always do, you guys know me now. There's no time I come to teach that I will not share a workbook or share something that will probably help you get practical, because it's not just about talking about it, it's about the practical part. And you need to do that, because I don't want you to just hear and go back home. No, you have to work so you can get those things done. So, practical steps. Number one, learning goals. Focus on learning and improvement and not just performance. Simple. So, what does this simply mean? Learn how to write your goals. And you're gone. It's okay for your goals to change every time. You are not a static person. You have to keep moving. You're very fluid, right? We humans are very fluid. I think the only person who is constant and static is Abba. And once Abba is constant and static on your matter, just know that you're going to be there. He literally has your back. But the amazing part for us as humans is that we are fluid. So learn to put your goals in order. Now, don't feel bad if your goals changes at any point in life. It's because you're growing. Every time, in fact, if you want to know that you're growing, this is the trick. You want to know you're growing, do another, just try doing a self-reflection of where you were before and where you are now. If you notice any minute change, it means you're growing, right? So first thing, learning goals. The next thing is seek feedback. I said that already. Actively seek and use feedback for growth. Now, I told you already that all my friends came up with plenty bad things, or no, not bad things, the downsides to me, and I totally agree with all the downsides they mentioned. Now, what I would do with that information is I'm going to start working on those things. So feedbacks are your best friend. Take the good part and take the bad part. It's very important. So seek feedback. Like, intentionally seek feedback. Don't wait for anybody to tell you no. Ask. Please, this thing I did, what do you think about it? Hear people's feedback about you. It allows you grow, because I think I must have shared it here or somewhere. It's called the Johari window. Things you do that you don't know you do, that people see, or things people see you do but you don't do. No, I don't know. Just probably gonna read about Johari window, then you understand why feedback is very important, because what you think you see might not be what it is. The next thing you need to do is be mindful. Look, be aware of your thoughts and challenge your fixed mindset. I said this already, right? So you cannot do away with negative self-talk. Don't deceive yourself. You can't fight it. But the best you can do is be aware of it and intentionally work against it. Right? Because there'll be days where you probably have a creative block, or there'll be days where you're not in a good mood to work, and then those thoughts start coming in. That's the point where you fight it back. You go after it and you make sure that you are aware of that thought and you're fighting it with great and positive affirmations of yourself. Now, the last one, which is always going to be my favorite, and I'm glad that you are here to hear this one, is called the growth minded people. Surround yourself with people that inspire you to grow. YSB is one of the best platforms for that. I'm not even going to lie about that one. Surround yourself with people. If you have joined YSB and you're the quiet one, please do not be quiet again. Be part of it. Take on task, do something, and you find yourself growing in the job. If you are the type that, if you're like me or personally, that will go into a group and keep quiet, please do not keep quiet anymore. Talk. Um, Interact, engage, so that you can meet people in this group that would help you grow. Now, I like you people to know that, which is the most important part for me, a growth mindset is a journey. In fact, growth is a journey. The day you tell yourself you want to grow is the day you become a sojourner. The day you make up your mind. I think if you were in the girls chat when I talked about um the head gardener, the master gardener, and other gardeners, the day you decide in your heart that you want to grow, hmm, that's the day you become a sojourner. That's the day you become a ajala, travel all over the world, because it is a journey. It's not a destination. It just never ends. It never ends. Take for instance, now when I was in school, I said, after law school, I'm not reading again. I'm done reading. I will not read again. Right? I tell myself I'm not reading again, and then now I'm a lawyer. It's a continuous thing. No? You keep reading to the very end. Till the day you die, you keep reading. And that's how growth is, and that's how having a great mindset is. It's never ending, because the great part about growth is that as you keep sprouting carefully, you're entering a new level in your life that will need you to take on a new level of challenge, need you to take on a new level of power ups. If you play games, right? If you play games, you should know about boosts and power ups, right? Growth mindset is a journey. It's not embrace it. The earlier you embrace growth, the earlier you embrace learning, the earlier you embrace resilience. That's how you know that you have the power to shape your future. So do away with negative self-talk. Do away with I'm not good enough. Do away with let's just do it today, we'll not do it tomorrow. No. Get ready to grow. And I'm sure that every other session in this academy, for the remaining part of this mentoring academy, come with an open mind, right? Come with a mind that's ready to learn, ready to ask questions. You're curious about these things. You want to learn, because when you can do this, you're opening yourself up to possibilities. So before we take questions, a workbook has been given based on, the assignments I gave everyone to read the books, the video and the article. Please, if you haven't, please go back and do those things, because it will mean a lot to you. The workbook would give you opportunity to answer questions and, reflect on your life. And the fun part is you can actually do it with friends, right? Don't do it alone. If you do it alone, it might be boring in the beginning, but try and do it with friends so that it will be fun, and you guys, have an opportunity to bond more. So with that being said, thank you so much, YSB, for having me. So let's see if there'll be questions. I'm ready to take any of them. Thank you so much. I like all the love coming. It's so nice.
Thank you so much, Alice. We're really, really grateful. Please, if you know that you learned something, keep the clap emojis coming.
Thank
Keep
you.
the
Thank
clap,
you.
keep the clap emojis coming. Thank you so much. So who has questions? I want questions. As Alice said, I think it's really important that you keep an open mind. You're curious. One of the reasons that we ensured that your mindset was the first class was because you wanted your mind open up to everything you're going to receive. Um, everything you're going to receive as we, go on this journey of transformation. So if your mind is not right, it's like you're just pouring into an empty cup. So I like that she said, stay curious, ask questions, be hungry for knowledge. You want something different, you want your life to change. Yeah, and so I've sent the presentation is in the group chat, the workbook as well is in the group chat as well. Please take time to go through everything. Take time to go through everything. Okay, yeah, Alice, someone said you made mention of books and articles. Yeah, we're going to send the books to you as well. Let me do that now. And so yeah, um, Alice, there are questions for you in the chat. Do you want me to read them out, or do you want to just?
All right. All right, thank you so much, Toby. Once again, I love you so much from the depths of my heart. You're like one of the most amazing persons I know. So
I
let's
love
take the
you too.
questions. I love questions. All right. Number one question says, how do you face the challenges? So I'm going to talk about myself first. Every time I'm asked to share about personal development, I always talk about myself, because I am the clear cut example I use every day of my life. And if you're ever going to talk about personal development, always start with yourself, because if you can't see it in you, then it's not working. All right. So how do you face challenges? Pretty simple. Um, I'm somebody who believes in having different plans. And I would advise you, as a YSB queen, somebody who has purpose, who wants to achieve more, who wants to bring glory to the name of Jesus, have plans, have more than one plan. It's the best thing to happen to your life. What this does for you is it prepares your mind. If anything goes wrong here, I have number two. But it doesn't mean that you should now treat number one very nonchalantly. No. In fact, the truth is, number one is your best bet. Take, for instance, you have a book, or you want to write a book, or you want to start a podcast this year, and you have so many challenges like, I don't have mic, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't know where to do this. You shall have plenty of excuses of different type that in your head, in quotes, they are challenges. Now, what do you do in this situation? The first thing you do is talk to somebody, because you might see it as a challenge, somebody else knows it as a challenge. The person must have probably gone through it and overcome it and have answers for you. So how do you face your challenges? Talk to someone about it, someone that you trust, somebody that you see as a confidant. Talk to that person about it. hear their perspective to these things. And over time, I mean, there's no how you have a conversation with somebody who is purposeful too that you won't find answers. I can bet my life on that. That's why I live on conversations. I have conversations with my friends. I can have an hour conversation with anybody, with people who actually are purposeful, because you will hear something on the way. So whenever you have a challenge, first thing to do is talk to a friend, talk to somebody that you confide in. When you're done talking to the person, take whatever the person has said with your thoughts and then write them down. Write them down, because it's in writing. I mean, it's biblical. Write the vision down, make it plain, right? Write them down so that you can go through them and self-reflect on how to get out of them. Because I don't really think there's a challenge in life. I feel like we think it's a challenge because it's like a stumbling block for us, but it's not necessarily a challenge for another person. I don't know if that makes sense. So write it down, reflect on them, and try to find answers. Don't let your challenges or your problems be a reason why you are stagnant, right? So face it head on, find answers, talk to someone, check the internet, read a book, find something to fix it. In fact, how I started podcasting was because of issues like this, right? I gave excuses that I didn't have money to buy gadgets, I didn't have money to do this, I didn't have money to pay for a hosting site. But over time, as I kept having conversations with people about it and finding answers, I found an easier way to podcasting, and it has been amazing. I literally teach podcasting to people now. I teach podcasting. Sorry, I teach podcasting to people who don't have a budget, who don't even know where to start from, who have excuses too, right? So get to it, find answers. Thank you. I don't know if I've answered that question. If I have, please let me know. Favor, have I answered your question properly? Okay, so let's take the next question. Next
Yes,
question
ma'am.
said, could you please explain more about learning goals and an example? Oh, I love the fact that questions are coming in. This is so amazing. Okay, so sorry. Could you please explain more about learning goals and an example too? Okay. This is going to be fun. So I know, in fact, let's start like this. So I need people to come to comment section and answer this question. If you use a to-do list, please write yes. If you don't know how to use a to-do list, write no. If you use a to-do list, write yes. If you don't know how to use it at all, be honest with yourself, write no. Let me try and explain this. So the question says, how could you please explain learning goals, an example of it? You see, I'm somebody who never liked to-do lists because in my head, I'm a very flexible person. I can be here and here and here and here at the same time, doing my own things, right? But as I kept growing and God started putting projects and things in my hands to handle, the need for to-do list became king. So I know that some people don't know how to use to-do list. Please start learning it. Learn. In fact, it could start as a very small joke. How I started was I write 10 things I want to do for the day. Trust me, I don't do all 10. I do only 3, right? I do only 3. So write 10 things you probably have to do for that day and then get to work on them. Just like James Clear would say, when you write your goals or you write your plans for the day, put a reward. Now, what I use as my reward is K drama. So if you're a K drama fan, hi, 안녕하세요. So when I write my goals down, I tell myself that if I can hit 6 out of the 10, I'll watch K drama for that day. I can watch like 5 episodes as my gift for myself. So how do you learn goals? Try a to-do list every day. Set a reward for yourself. Give yourself a benchmark. If you have 10 things to do for that day, try and do 5 and reward yourself. Make sure you do that 5. It's going to be difficult, but make sure you do it. That's how you learn how to set goals. So that's learning goals basically. Elizabeth, did that answer your question? I want to be sure we're all on the same page. Elizabeth, did that answer your question? Say yes, please. Great, thank you so much. All right, so the next question says, how do you handle negative feedback? And how are you sure the negative feedback is not exaggerated? In all honesty, you might not know. That's just the truth. That's why it's always safe to ask people who care about you, who are purposeful and intentional with their own lives. Now, I don't ask everybody for feedback. That's something you need to understand too. People you could ask for feedback are probably your mentors, your confidants, your friends, and maybe just one stranger who has been watching you from afar, right? So when that's basically for exaggeration, right? You cannot measure the exaggeration of whatever anybody says. That's just the truth. You can't, because that's how they see it. You cannot change how they see it, but you can get better from what they see. Now, the next question was, how do you handle negative feedback? Simple. Somebody tells you that this thing you do, I don't like you, I don't think it's a good thing. Go back, write it down, ask yourself, is this really me or do I do these things? And if you believe you don't do those things, figure it out or try to ask the person a question basically to understand why the person thinks so, right? But if you actually do those things, my dear, get to work and start getting better. That's how you handle it. Don't get angry when anybody gives you any criticism or feedback of any sort, negative or not. Don't get angry. Don't feel bad. Get to work. That's like your ticket to know where to face now or know what to do part time for your growth, right? I hope I've answered that question correctly. Okay, so Latasha asked, Latisha, please, I'm sorry if I muttered your name wrong. Latisha, good evening. My question is, as you open your mind to feedback, how do you discern genuine feedback and the ones that hate? I already said that. I really already said that. You can't actually. You can't to be honest. People will always have, whether it's a hater or that, I said you should know who you ask these questions, right? You know you ask these questions, and it's somebody who knows their worth, and if you know the kind of person you are, it's easy for you to know when somebody is actually telling a lie about a feedback. Do you get? So you might not necessarily know it, but whatever I said, take it back to your drawing board and figure out if truly this is what it is. And if it is, please grow. It's in fact, I hear people say they don't know where to start their personal growth from. This is my own clue to you. When somebody gives you a negative feedback, that's your first pointer where to start from, right? So, Letitia, I hope I've answered that question. Thank you so much. Okay, so great. Thank you so much, Letitia. All right, Destiny, she's asking, how do you come out of your shell when someone is being molested at a young age? Okay. Hmm. You need a support system. That's the best answer I can give you. And like I said earlier, if you're not yet a YSB member, you need to find Toby or any of the ESCOs and ask them how you can join them. Because you see, when it comes to molestation as a girl child, it's something that most people think or most people don't know how to handle, right? I mean, I've heard stories of people who have handled it very well and turned it around into a channel of strength for themselves, and others might not be able to. And this is where a support system comes. Join a support system that allows you to share and be vulnerable, because in that vulnerability you find answers, you find succor, you find comfort, right? So I don't know if that has answered your question. The very first thing you need, don't even think of trying to find any other way out. Find a support system. It's very important, because you might feel you could handle it, but you might not. Find a support system, find a confidant, and talk about it. Because the more you talk about it, the more you're dealing with it. Thank you so much. So Esther has a question. How do you deal with being burned out while growing? Hey, hey. So I'm going to give a very honest answer to this because I get burnt out almost every day. I remember last year or in 2 years' time, I think it's actually safe to share this with the queens. It's like I said, personal growth for me is me talking about myself every day. So I remember last year when a word of prophecy was given, sorry, and what was said was that in the years to come, I would have so much to do. Like God's going to place a lot in my hands to do, right? And the instruction was I should not say I cannot do it, which is very funny because how can you give me so much and tell me not to say I cannot do it? Because it's obvious I would get burnt out. I would get exhausted. I'll get tired. Now, entering into this year, too many things are already in my hand. There are days I wake up and I'm like, you know what, I'm not doing it again. I'm tired. I can't keep up. I can't fight it. But you see the great part about growth and burnout. Whenever you notice that you're burning out, take a time out. Just disappear. Keep quiet for 2 days. Don't say anything to anybody. Rest. Sleep. Don't touch any growth related thing that day. Just sleep. Rest. Because the truth is, for every time you keep getting burnt out without what's that word? Without resting or without refueling, yes, that's the right word. Without refueling, you would get blind. Get blind in the sense that you start to miss the essence of your calling or your purpose on earth, right? So when you're growing, you will get burnt out. I'm not going to lie about that. I get burnt out almost every day because every day God is telling one new thing that we need to do part time. Now, what you do is you take a time out and rest. It's important that you rest. It's important that you also think of yourself because, like I said the other day, growth is not really about you. It's about the things God has placed in your hands. And if you're not growing, you cannot hit those levels that He needs you to take on task for Him for. So when you have burnout like that, take a break, rest, shut your phone down. If you can't shut your phone down, close your eyes and sleep. If you cannot sleep, just listen to worship songs and sleep. Because we don't need you burned out. We don't need you burnt out. We don't. We're not interested in that. We need you to find a way to continue to do the things that God has placed in your hands. So when you feel burnt out in the midst of growth, sleep, close that book, end that podcast, look for something else to do, take a walk, talk to family members, get better. And I think that's like the easiest way. That's the easiest way to deal with burnout. That's how I deal with it. I just shut down. So that's basically it. I don't know if I answered your question, Esther. If there's more you want clarity on, please let me know. So if there are there any other questions? Are there any other questions? If you have any questions to ask, please. I'm here to answer all. Oh, thank you so much, Esther. Thank you so much. God bless you. Okay. If there's any question, I'm still ready to take it. Anita, do I still have time? Okay, Favor has a
What?
question.
Okay.
Okay, Favor, please
Okay.
ask your question.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I'm just seeing it. Thank you very much. In growing, how do you build connection with the right people and how do you sustain friendship that are not helpful, but you cannot cut because of hurts? Ah, Holy Spirit. Okay, so let's break the question down carefully. How do you build connection with the right people? You know that saying that says deep collect unto deep. If you know that saying, please come to comment section and write, yes, I know this saying. Great. Now, when you are in a system, in fact, what I would advise you to do if you want to find the right people, I don't know what the right people means to you, but the right people for me would be people that align with my purpose and my values, right? Those are the right people. The right people are people who are seeing what you are seeing, who are literally like their trajectory is right where you are going to. Those are the right people. So the question now is how do you build connection with them? Keep talking. That's the easiest way I can say it. Keep talking. Reach out to them. Join communities where you know that they will always be. Keep trying to talk to them. Like let conversations flow because you see, if truly deep calls to deep, when the conversation begins, You guys will know yourself. Now you know yourself. You will know yourself. It's always difficult at first, but when conversations begin and then you allow yourself to not necessarily be vulnerable, but you allow yourself to relax and actually want to make meaningful friendship, it would flow easily. Now the second part is, how do you sustain friendships that are not helpful? This is my advice for you. It's something I have done. Now I have people in my okay, I won't say necessarily my friend circle, but they're people I am friends with, right? That they are not, I don't use the word not helpful. I think I'll use the word they are not aligning to where I'm going to. Now I will not cut them off. I have never cut any of them off, right? I don't think you should. But this is what I advise you to do. Keep trying to be there for them. Don't cut them off. I mean, I used to have a friend who was not in the same point view as me. Like the way she saw things was quite different. And then I remember when I walked up to her and I told her, I want to be friends with you. She was shocked that someone like me wants to be friends with her. And then over the years, my own friend literally is one of the few persons that I can call anybody's mentor, right? So don't cut them off. Keep being friends with them. Try to be there for them. Or if you actually know something that can help them grow, share it with them. Take on challenges with them. Don't cut them off. I don't think the issue is they're not helpful. I think the issue is they have not just found themselves. And take that as your first project. Help them find themselves. And then move on from there. That's how I see it. I don't know if I've answered that question for you, Favor. Okay, so questions are still coming. Thank you very much. Lawani says, you mentioned that when you get burnt out, you sleep or do something. What if you stay with family that do not understand you? I don't stay with family that do not understand me, honestly. I used to, but not anymore. Now, when you stay with family that does not understand you, especially when you're burnt out and you want to sleep or do something else, all I advise you to do now, I don't say take a walk because that's like the safest thing to say to you. But I want you to understand that when you're burnt out, you should be able to communicate that you're burnt out, right? Tell somebody. Take for instance this same family that does not understand you, right? Tell them that, look, at this point you're not yourself. You want to catch your breath. If they still don't get it, I don't know what to say again at this point. To be honest, I really don't know what to say again at this point. So I don't know, Lawani. I hope I've answered your question. Honestly, yes. Favor taking a work is actually run away from responsibilities. See them as your project. All right. So Peculiar says, "Good evening, ma'am. How do you keep yourself motivated when struggling to build resilience and perseverance?" Pretty simple. One of the few ways is to listen, read, or talk. Listen to resources. Find a podcast. I mean, I shared some material, so that those are great places to start from. Um, Listen to podcasts, listen to TED Talks, read a book, try and talk to somebody who is going your direction. I see it's always fun to talk to people that are going your direction, to be honest. It's actually always fun. It just gives you this weird adrenaline. You just get pumped up again. As in you literally find them when you are like down. And immediately starting conversations with them, they're like opening your mind. I have a friend like that. Pastor Mali. Pastor Mali can talk to me for hours. Sometimes I even get tired of the conversation. I'm not going to lie, I get tired. But you see, every time we have that conversation, I'm pumped up, right? I really want to do more. So when you are struggling to stay resilient and stay persevered, talk to someone, listen to something, and read a book. Those are the best thing you could do for yourself, to be honest. If you want, if in fact I would have said I would have borrowed you Pastor Mali as my friend. I would just tell him to be talking to you too, because I'm not going to lie, he literally makes it difficult for me to not be motivated part time. So find that friend that would keep talking about, okay, someone will say it's called tall dreams, right? But it's not. The person literally speaking the things they want to see. And if you watch well, those things begin to happen over time. So find that friend that talks, that has Thor Dream Talk, and listen and be part of that conversation. That's how it works. That's how you stay motivated. I'm not going to lie to you. So yes, I hope I did justice to your question, Peculiar. I hope I did. If I didn't, please forgive me. I will come back to it again. If you still need clarity on it, we'll come back to it. So any other question? Okay, so if there are no questions, oh, all right, thank you, Peculiar. So if there are no questions, please, 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 just like Toby has said, please, I beg you, take the workbook serious. I've shared a lot of workbooks with YSB. So um go through the workbooks, be honest with yourself. The great part about workbooks is it works when you're honest with yourself. Go through the workbooks, be honest with yourself, and answer every question. Find answers. Buy a journal. I would have showed you my journal, but it's not here right now. Buy yourself a journal and write. See, write it the way it is in your head. Write the way you want to see yourself. The more you keep writing, always come back to those things. Because, like someone said, those are your weapon. Those are the things that keep you going when the chips are down. I told you that every year I write a new bio for myself, what I want to see myself as this year. Will I achieve all of it? No. But you see, that's my ginger for that day, for that year, sorry. So be intentional. Be intentional. YSB Queens, take every session in this mentoring academy serious. Be serious with it because something will drop somewhere and you will need it to actually pull yourself, please. So that's it for me. Since if there are no questions anymore, I'd like to say a big thank you again to Young, Saved, and Beautiful. Thank you so much for always seeing me as family. Toby, thank you so much. The entire ESCOs for YSB, thank you. The committee in charge of Mentoring Academy, thank you so much. Everyone who has listened, dropped the emojis. I love all these emojis. They're just making me so fly. So thank you so much, everyone. I think I'll off my mic at this point. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much. We had a very great, amazing time actually. And I think the major take home for me would be to be very intentional. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, to all the participants, thank you so much for joining in. And we apologize for going some minutes beyond the time, but I'm sure that it was worth every second. Okay, so the workbook has been dropped on the group chat. Every resource has been shared. Also, we're going to share a link to a folder for each participant where you get to submit your assignment. So please ensure that you submit your assignment in your own folder. You submit in your own folder, not someone else's folder. And then also please, it's also important that we ensure that the names we use to join the meeting is actually our full name. In case you are using maybe an email address that has maybe your pet name or your business name, please ensure that it's changed to your full name so it's easier for us to identify you and know that you were in class. So thank you very much, everyone. See us on Thursday for the next in Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. See us on Thursday for the next